Welcome. So this is not going to be as much a tutorial as it will be you guys kind of looking over my shoulder as I go through making the show. So I'm probably going to talk to myself about what I'm doing rather than kind of explain it. But I will be explaining things in future. I think I'm going to do like a proper course tutorial, kind of breaking down exactly what I do from finding tracks, why, how, with what in mind, to editing tracks, deciding why I'm editing what, then mixing the show and mastering the show, adding the voiceovers, all that. And all that will, of course, help your DJing in clubs greatly as well, because it's all about learning the tracks and manipulating the tracks the way you want in the studio before you even get to the club. Anyway, let's just get this show done for today, and we'll talk more about that later. So I have these folders. It's probably 4 folders of new tracks. Sometimes I'll go and sort them ahead of time into like first hour, second hour, third hour, but today they're just a big mess, so I'm going to do that on the fly. What are we going to start at? 116. Quick explainer. On each channel, I have 2 automation tracks. Which are volume, obviously for mixing, and then what should be equally sized is an EQ8 for bass. Oops. Whoops is something you say a lot when you're clicking on tiny dots on a screen. So this takes the bass out. So these 2 are on both channels. Anyway, you'll see as we go. So I'm going to speed this up for now. Let's go to about 125. Clearly, that's much later on. Nice. Now, obviously, these are all pre-edited and pre-synced, and that's something I'm going to go into later. Pre-edited as in I chopped it up the way I want it, so it's about 5.5 minutes. And obviously, they're all synced in Ableton, so I can just drag and drop. So right now, I'm just kind of feeling out the vibe of tracks and laying them out where they would approximately go based on the vibe that I want. That sounds like it's like a nice ending kind of vibe. Oh, we know where that one's going. That's another one. Oh, this is so good. See, this is a perfect example for me of a track that goes from the kind of progressive tech house buildup into the sort of techno 2/3 in, because it has so much tension. It also has the type of beat that can easily mix out of a track that's a different genre. And of course, easily get out of techno into techno. Might be a bit too kind of epic-ish for early, so maybe late after the techno. And that's the same key. So while vibe always trumps key in my mind, like if the vibe is right, I'm going to make something work. And if the vibe is wrong, as in if a track is not the right track for the vibe at that moment, even if it's perfectly mixes in key, I'm not going to touch it. I would rather play something that's not in the same key, mix it differently and make it work to make sure that the right track is played at the right time. And I've fallen guilty of this, and I hear a lot of other DJs do it as well, where they fall in love with tracks that are the same key because the mixes are so smooth. And, you know, like if you listen to these two. So they're quite different vibes, but I mean, it sounds like the same track, which is great. And if the vibe works, which is the most important thing, as in if that is the right track to play after that track for the story, the chapter I'm trying to tell as part of the story, amazing. If not, I'm not going to force it in there just because it's the same key and the mix sounds smooth. So the mix is secondary to the vibe. But hey, if you find something that's the same key, go with it as long as it fits the vibe. Okay, a little bit energetic, but still nice and proggy. So, kind of funky. Another one, same key, but also very similar vibe. So I'm actually going to change the color of those two to remind me that they're a great one. This is a great step up from this one. So they'll work together and they're the same key. Bomb. Good find. For me, stuff like this is always a question. Are we going to put it at the beginning or are we going to put it at the end? If it's really emotional and has a nice soft landing. I said this wasn't going to be a tutorial. I was just going to go ahead and make the show, and here I am rambling. Anyway, let's get to it. This third channel is just like a holding channel for when this gets a bit full. Filter heads all day. It's pretty early on. Why it's doing that. Okay. I had a bit of a problem with some stuff being synced, saved at the BPM that it was not. I basically edited them at 123, and then because I'm on a new computer, my templates are off, and I dragged them in and saved all the warping at 120. So everything was off. So it all synced up from the beginning. If you played 2 tracks from the beginning, they would sync. But as soon as you drop it in the middle, it was way off. Anyway, so I fixed that. And now, as it should be, everything syncs up. Just going to do this as I go. Cool. Going towards the end. Seems like quite a bit of techno today. Perfect early music. This is a little dark for that early, so let's move this up. Okay. Similar vibe there. Maybe. A lot more to look at though, so take it slow. So I'm going to grab all these and move them back a bit because we're kind of running out of room here. The reason I'm like constantly jumping back to these is just to get an idea of vibe and key and kind of see where we're at. It's like, because I don't know these records yet because they're all mostly stuff that I've just received. It's good to kind of constantly get a feel for it. Or I need to constantly get a feel for it. Oh yeah, that's a end of the night one for sure. Tricky one today. I don't know, that's a maybe. Ooh, that sounds like it'll be a nice combo. Both in vibe and in key. Beautiful. It's a touch off, so you can't ride it forever, but it'll work for now. Boris. That's in my So I'm going to move Matt instead of before the techno, actually to bridge the progressive to the more funky stuff. It definitely has that pickup, anticipation, tension feel that works really well to like let people know that, you know, the lights go a bit lower, the music gets a bit louder. So we have kind of our early progressive. We have a kind of pickup, funky dance, like 11:30, 12. Like I think of everything as like a 10 to 4 open to close. So this is your like 10 to 11:30. Then get a bit of like 11:30, 12, 12:31. And then, you know, because it's compressed into 2 hours instead of 6. And then you get into your 3 a.m. kind of dark, maybe a little bit emotional, a little bit ethereal, kind of trancey, not the genre, but like the original definition of the word trancey. Repetitive, puts you in a trance. And then the more pretty kind of ending stuff that I always like to land with. See, this is more of that perfect like 11:30 p.m. kind of pick it up stuff. I don't know if you guys can hear that plane flying over, but look at that. So this is the same key as Matt's record. So these two are going to go perfect. Awesome. And again, if this was like a techno record, it doesn't matter if it's the same key, I wouldn't put it there, but it has a really nice kind of vibe of anticipation, build up, a little bit more than the progressive, a little bit less than the techno, so it works. Oh, I remember liking this. And this is definitely a post-techno record. kind of creeps up on you with a lot of emotion. So it's going to go with that after the peak. Everything is pre-techno and post-techno. So you have the progressive, the clubby stuff, gets into the techno, then the techno is the peak, and then it comes back down into the sort of trippy stuff, the emotional stuff, and then a couple of bomb ending records. So this is getting pretty full, and I still have a shit ton of tracks. So I can always do a longer set. Yeah, there's no rules. More of that funky midnight stuff. Okay. Beautiful. Another ending gem. Pretty. Okay. Just check this quickly. You notice these are all at -8, and I do that so I can master it later. I'm gonna keep that around, but not sure what I'm gonna do with it. All right, let's see what's going on in this one. So I've screwed myself doing monthly because there's now too many good records, but no, I'm not going to do it weekly. So don't even think about it. So let's see what gems there are. I like that. Interesting. Keep that around. That's just pre-techno. It's nice. Embarrassment of riches with these tracks. There's way too many good things. This is a classic I used to play in the 90s. It's been redone. I'm gonna keep it around, but I'm not feeling this mix 100%. Wow. Need to move this to the beginning, so let's highlight everything, slide it over, and move this to the start. All right. Yep, classic. As so Deza's perfect like bridge from the more linear early progressive tech house. When you want to start picking up the energy, have it be like fun, upbeat, musical, a little bit more energy before you get into the chunky like Boris, Matt Lang stuff we have there that's like midnight. But it's great. It could also go at the end because it's got some emotion. But for me, this fits perfectly nice and early. I'm actually going to move all these away for now and do this at the beginning. I don't know why I was doing it at the end. Definitely going to play that, but only one Deza track today. Oh yeah, nice and early. Here's another nice early one. That might be the opener. Actually, it could be a closer. This would only be a closer if it was like an 8 a.m. gig after playing like 8 hours. This is better as an opener. It's beautiful, no question, but definitely like an opener. Remember, all these rules are just based on my set preference. So when I say this is an opener, I'm only talking about with regard to my set, the way I play, the way I want to program it. For certain DJs who play super deep, that could be like a peak record because it's beautiful, it's well produced. So just want to clear that up. Listen to those two beauties work well together. That did not sound good. No room. Oh, there we go. And I still have a ton of things. So the yellow ones marked are ones that played on a previous show. So all these tracks that were not played. Let's see. What? There we go. This is 126. Looks that way. Let's see if this mixes. All right. Interesting. Honestly, Dosem is next level. Okay, pass on that one just for now. Maybe. Oh, yes. Honestly, Dosem's killing me so much. Dude's a genius. That's mislabeled. Anyway, I think that's enough for this week. Beautiful. What is cut time again? want to start it too low because it's too obvious of it coming in. Now I'm just going to double check that these aren't the same key. No. I want to make sure that none of these are getting left out. No, good. These are all a big level up. So we'll stick with this group. Jump around just to make sure that if that's the same key as that perfectly and the mix can be super smooth, maybe they'll go together because they're kind of in the same family within this set. But so that's why you hear me jumping around a lot. And it's probably annoying to listen to, but reference. All right. Problem with a lot of this stuff is the producers put pads and strings immediately from the beginning. So it kind of limits what you can mix it with in key. Because you have to mix in key because there's tonal qualities like a string or a pad or, even just a stab with a big tail reverb. optimally you want a drum only or an intro that doesn't have anything specifically tonal that forces you or limits you. But a lot of producers produce their songs as if people are listening from the beginning to the end, like Spotify, like a 4-minute track. But when you extend it out into 6 or 7 minutes for a DJ to mix, you don't need to put those tonal qualities at the beginning. If anything, I'm less likely to play it live if I know it's going to be less fun to mix because it has a big string that doesn't go in key with the song that's ending. Anyway, I digress. More about that in the course. There's ways around everything, but it just, you can tell the producers that DJ in a style of layering tracks and producers that don't, based on the way they frame their art with a good intro and outro. Anyway, that's why we have EQs and filters, and we can work around it. See, that does not work. There's a bass sound here that does not mix with this. So, move it away. So I knew that bass sound comes in here, so I want to make space for it by removing the bass here, but in a way that's not just an abrupt cut from one track to another. So we kind of created our own breakdown by removing the drums here for, 8 bars? 4 bars? And then cool because this voice works even though the rest of the track doesn't. So it kind of masks the transition. Is more dominant. I mean, this is obviously a mix. There's no masking these two tracks transitioning, but you can do it in a way where you're not really sure which sounds are from which, even though you know it's changing. Also, what I'm going to do here is bump this up a tiny bit. Beautiful. Now, I have a dilemma here. This is quite smooth and super nice, and it mixes with this. This would actually be a really nice transition from this vibe to this. But this mix is great. But now, is this vibe too much for this? Let's try it. But then with this, I want to mix this with this. So what you get worried about is if you move up too fast and you can't, for example, if you go like step 1, 2, 3, and then you have a track that's a 2, you can no longer fit it in. So you need to go 1, 2, 2, 3. So you need to make sure that you're not going ahead of yourself. Like if, just because something is in key. See, you run into this problem of like, these two mix so well together and they'd be perfect. But if one is a jump too far in one direction, then you can't go backwards, and you kind of roller coastering your vibe. But I mean, you can a little bit, but that's kind of advanced. For now, it's like, I just want like a smooth rise, and yeah, let's figure it out. Let's see how these two go together. No, that's not going to happen. This maybe could be an ender, but I really want to use this. This might be too mellow. Okay, I'm ditching this. Some days this comes together in a short period of time, and some days it's a nightmare. Not a nightmare, but it's just a lot of work. like that mix. I'm going to keep it. You are in timeout. Bathroom break. I'm riding this loop just to keep the vibe going. Cool, doesn't need it anymore. Whoops. Oh yeah, we already tested that, right? Slowing me down a bit. Damn it, Spencer. I don't know Spencer. I said it like I was my friend. I really want to play this, but figure something out, but with that key, that chord at the beginning, I can't do it. Figure that out sooner. Doesn't work at all. It's another one, like, just frame it with an outro that's not literally music right to the end. Frustrating because it just limits what you can do with a track and limits how smooth the night is. For what? I mean, I'm not someone to tell someone how to do their art, but every painting in a gallery has a frame around it that allows you to attach it to the wall properly. So this is one of those bad hair day mixes today where just nothing seems to want to play nice. around it. I just don't like being so choppy. I'd rather ride things out. It'll have to do. I really want to play this because it's so good. So even though the vibe is a bit different at this point in the set, I said vibe trumps, but I'm going to try and jam it in there. See, that's the kind of mix that gives you chills. It's worth every penny. Beast of a track. Okay, so this is at about the 40-minute mark. Now, this is clearly going to be longer than 2 hours because there's just tons of good music. So you picked a good day to hang out. A frustrating day getting all this pieced perfectly. So 40-minute mark, probably time to pick it up a bit. Pick it up in BPM, but also picking it up in vibe. I've had so many times over the course of cycles, 300 and whatever episodes, people have said to me, I love that how it gets faster or how it got faster in that episode in the middle when it never actually changed BPM. It's just that the track became more percussive. You know, the vibe of the tracks in the middle is definitely like more chuggy, more pushy. You know, pushing ahead with hi-hats and shuffle and certain effects and certain drum patterns. And it's still, there was plenty of episodes where the BPM did not change from the beginning to the end. I went through a phase of 126 BPM on the first track and the last track were 126 BPM, but it felt like it was 130 in the middle where the techno stuff was happening. So, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to just take this and loop it. I wish the producer would do this because it would be much cleaner. But again, too, this is the way I mix. A lot of people just bang from one track to another and they don't care about the keys or the smoothness. But for me, I love it when a track drops the tonal elements so you can mix it with the right track for the crowd at that moment without saying, oh, it's not in the same key, I'm kind of screwed. So I've cut and pasted a little piece without that tone, and let's see if we can keep this vibe going the way I want. Okay, so let's check that out. So that works. So I've kind of redone this ending. So instead of having that which is awesome, but limits what you can mix it with, it's now just a nice drum outro that works. Where the 7.3 came from, but why is everything 7.3 minus 7.3 BDB when it should be 8? 8.3. Bane of my existence. Okay, same key, also picking up in vibe, perfect marriage. This should be easy. Listen to that. Just cut this off here. That vibe to keep going. breathe. No, it's too messy. I'll leave it alone. Just feel like there's a bit of a drop from here to here. So maybe. So I don't know, do we cut this and give it another try with this? So we take this out and try this. That works. Then, because this is super cool, I want to keep it, but this has a little more energy, so I'm going to switch places. Honestly, I could listen to Sapporo all day, so I don't mind this. But this mix is taking me a lot longer than usual. As there's just, it's like a bad hair day. Things are just not playing nice. That works. So the tickiness here, which doesn't exist in that one, I'm going to keep it going because unlike the last time I tried that a few minutes ago, it was overpowering to have these two, but Sapporo's little tickiness works perfectly. So you can hear the difference between this and then and if you want, you can bring the volume down a bit just to kind of let the other track grow. Now see, that's more my sound than this. So even though producers get pissed because I'm kind of screwing up their shit, that's the job of a DJ. I mean, no one's standing over my shoulder in the club saying, you're riding that loop too long. So it's kind of the same thing, but I love those 16th hi-hats and that kind of ticky sound on top. So I'm going to keep it going further into the night. No pun intended. So you can hear it here. It's just that. It's perfect. And it raises the energy slightly of Into the Night, which actually makes it fit in this part of the set better because we're kind of picking up a little bit more because now we're at like 40 minutes. And then I'll cut it off here. Perfect. And now we already know these two are perfectly in key and the vibe is right, which is why we switched them around to begin with. So this mess. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to do the same because this has super cool, like live tribal kind of percussion. See, this is kind of flat without it. Listen to them both together. The beauty of Ableton, we're going to keep that vibe going. You listen to that, maybe take out a little more bass, married with this. Perfect. And it just keeps that cohesiveness going. On top. Without it now, my excitement bias without it doesn't sound as good, but that's been going since we go 10 minutes before, and that starts with Into the Night. Happens so at the end of the Spencer Brown record, Into the Night, all the way through, and now continues into this B.A.X. record. That same dun dun dun. Now people won't even notice that. No one's going to say that sound's been there for 10 or 12 minutes, but it just has that cohesive groove to it where things are changing but things aren't, and it's just, it melts together. Oh, I love it. With Traktor, I do this all the time live, where you just keep one loop going at the end of the track and just play it over the next 5 tracks. Just awesome. It's a cool loop like that. Like, this is such an original. I mean, it's lower now, but in volume. Anyway, rambling. Unfortunately, I've got to cut it at some point. So let's cut it there. And I disappear it slowly with the filter and a volume here so that it's not an abrupt change. So I'm going to leave that there. Now I'm going to do a really quick, just breeze through to see where we're at. Sounds pretty chill. That should probably go almost now. Let's see. these are definitely after techno. So is this one. This one's going to go up here a little bit. Okay. Might be too soft. Chord might be an end of the night record. What are these? This could be just drums, but See, this is the problem with Dos Emis. He's so good that other tracks don't sound as good next to it. So, keep it going. Oh yeah. Now this is a perfect example. This track's vibe is a little bit less if it was a dub, but because it has a vocal, it's going to be a standout right here. If this didn't have a vocal, I might put it earlier, but this is a bomb with a vocal, and that vocal is going to stand out, and the vocal trumps kind of where it goes or decides where it goes because it's strong. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's kind of how I see it. I'll try and figure this mix out because these two are not in key. There we go. So I can fuck with it a bit more because this has a really cool build up. So it's almost like DJing live when you cut the bass out of both and then let like two things flow and then kick back in. Different style of mix than some of the earlier issues I had. I pointed that way, like back in the timeline. Anyway, so you'll hear the bass just gets cut on the previous track. And again, much more like a DJ style. See, it sounds off there, but when you hear it in context, I'm going to play the whole thing. The off-key string in the Martin Roth remix comes in slow enough that you kind of get used to it and it works. So maybe. Let's check it out. Yeah, and it's enough of a statement when it kicks in that it can be like a whole vibe change. think that works. And now we know that this is in the same key, and a nice kind of energetic uplift after some of the darker stuff. Let's see how this works. Des has got that Spotify thing going on where you got to capture attention early on. So he goes right into that breakdown, so you can't really ride it. So what I'm talking about with that is with today's low attention span generation, you got to grab people right away. And obviously a 2-minute intro, you're going to lose people. So a lot of current music has a very short intro and goes right into the melody or the main body of whatever the hook is, whether it be a vocal, whatever, to grab you, and then goes back into kind of an intro because they've already got you. They already know, you already know what the hook is or the melody is, rather than, you know, a 3-minute intro before the payoff, or like back in the day, a 5-minute intro. Yes, I have 12-minute records, so I can't really bitch, but that was 20 years ago. So let me just give this a quick listen because Des is going to kill me, but... I'm going to fuck this up because this is what I want to ride over. And then let's try this. It's a great track, so I don't mind playing it a bit longer. Because these two go so well together, I want more of that like percussion drum build up before the breakdown, riding over this track. And again, just my DJ style. I like those long, smooth transitions. Let's see how this works. Let me just give it a listen here first. See, this sounds like a regular track. And I totally get what Deza was doing by having the breakdown really quickly, but I'm using my artistic license to mess it up and do it my way. And I think this is going to be a great mix because you've got a very linear, dark vibe with this Martin Roth record, and then same root note in the Deza track, but then it starts to change, which for me is like, I get the chills just talking about it, because that is the moment in the club when you come out of like 10 minutes of linear and then just bang. So you can hear it creeping in. Smooth that out a bit. Martin's cool, like off rhythms, threw me off a bit. I had to make sure everything was in time there. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah. Whoops. So this part is super smooth. So when I had this growing underneath it, it didn't sound right. But Martin has it filtering up here already. So it's a perfect lead in to like sneak into Dez's hi-hats. That mix gives me the chills. And you lose that with the quick mix straight into the breakdown. Again, I get why Dez is doing it. Sorry, Dez. And look, I can keep Martin's thingy going. Actually, so this ends in the middle of these two parts. So I can either put it at the end or at the beginning. I'm actually going to move it. So I'm going to go like this. I'm all emotional after that mix, so. One beat back. Is that right? Five, six, seven, eight. Perfect. So all I did there was kind of reconstruct Dez's intro to fit my style, but I still left it. This is his, he only has it from up to as far as I just pulled it back. It's very short. And I just kind of took a piece from the middle, put it in the beginning, made my mix much smoother, but it still kicks in the style that he intended. It just starts a lot earlier. Just want to stay there all day. So now it's time. Okay. We've had a beautiful intro, smooth, really nice, kind of twisted, progressive, early section, a couple of vocals, not too emotional, not too like slap you in the face, build up, let's go. Then a beautiful kind of early climax with this Deza track. But now we're going to drop down into dancing time, where you move from your head to your butt with some tracks that are more based on the lower half of your body instead of the upper half, because people have got their drinks, people have settled in. Let's see this Deza outro. It looks quite long. See, I don't love cutting that string off, but maybe we can do it one more. I know it's off time. I'm just playing. No, I'm going to keep it. Sorry, Deza. Got to keep that drum beat going. That's too good. Good compliments to each other. Let's take it all the way to the breakdown, but we're going to bring this bass up a bit here. This low cut, I should call it. And we're going to take the volume down as we go. There. Take it down a bit more. Good. So without it. See, there's nothing wrong with the song without Deza's drums on top. But again, like we talked about earlier, to keep the continuity, keep the vibe going, I like to ride that specific sound on top, continuing all the way to the breakdown. So. actually don't even know if we'll need it after this. Keep it. It's not really affecting anything. Yes. Actually, let me just check if this is... Let me see. This kind of fits the vibe a bit. Oh, yeah. Going on with this timing. So mass track's a bit overpowering. So even though its bass kicks in here, I've got the volume 4 dB down from usual, bringing it up over the next little bit. It's too strong to just bang it in. And this track is kind of more housey, and this is more high-tech sounding. So don't be afraid to automate the shit out of it. Someone asked me why I don't just use a fader, and this is exactly why. So you have so much control. Now you got Matt's nice rolling bass under there. And we're taking the bass out of here a little bit more as we go. Perfect. Fat fingers today are ridiculous. See, another one. Let's just keep this going. Now, if you've listened to Cycles before or heard me play live, you know as soon as you hear this vibe, we're going to another level, 100%. Which is why I almost worry that this might be too chill. this is how we think it's going to be more than 2 hours. Then we end up weeding some stuff out. Okay. Where's the Boris track? Too mellow for now. What did I do with this? Too mellow also. Let's go with this one. Problem I'm having dragging this to the right spot. Is there a shortcut? Tell me in the comments to just knock it to like, if it's at 7.2, if I click it and hold it, it'll just go 7, 8, 9 or something. Anyway. Okay, Matt. Your fat ass baseline has to go, unfortunately. Let's see if we can keep it going for a while though. This is dragging, so I'm going to move this up here. Got to keep that energy up. I'm even going to move that up again and get this little fill. So I'm going to do this from here. Cool. Let's just fix that. So I'm going to bring this up only to help this little breakdown here. So. Too soon. Okay. It works like that. No, I'm going to let it roll with the previous one. Look at these tracks dropping like flies. Okay. Timing is cleared. I don't know what I was thinking messing around with this. Vocal from here? Perfect. This music was made to be mixed. Oops. I'm just adding some effects so that one track matches the other. Just kind of playing around like you would as a DJ, you know, drop the bass, filter. Let's get up to 126 on this little break here. Beautiful. Cool. Now we can get into some Boris. Always play some Boris tracks. I do. I mean. Easy. Got like a shuffly vibe here, and how well they complement each other together. Perfect. Quickly take stock of what's left and what's going on here. Well, what are you doing over there? You need to be over here. Ooh, looks like we're gonna get a little more techno today than usual. All right. What is the problem here? Aha. Yoink. Okay, it's not quite ready to be alone. So I'm gonna keep a little more bass in there. What is going on with these tracks today? I don't understand why all the beginnings were cut off at some point during this mix. Oh, it's when I had tracks overlapping. Okay, time to take stock. So many bombs. Out of this one. See, because this is kind of late in the night, late in the set. People are tired, people are fatigued, people have, dance their ass off for that sort of peak techno and all the build up. So now you can kind of trance them out. Again, not the genre trance, but like just get really repetitive and really smooth and kind of, I don't know, it's just the right time for like a 3-4 in the morning vibe. And then this, of course, leads into a classic of classics. So nothing wrong with throwing those in, especially after a long techno set, to kind of part the clouds and have the sun come out with something really pretty. Now, I might actually just cut this out. Since they updated, I always forget to scroll to grab the whole thing. I'm just talking on my ass. See, now we're tightening up as some drop out. My God. What did I hear? This. There's another version of that though. All right. Oh, listen to that. Okay. I'm gonna back that up. Do it DJ style and have this. lovely. Getting a bit late for this dosum track, so I'm going to try and squeeze it in now before the vibe gets too low for it. Oh. Yeah, that's gonna work. Okay, this is sick. I've been ignoring this track all day. So those two are the same key. I don't know where this is gonna fit. That's an early track. So good. Okay, now I dislike that mix, which is good. So we're gonna try and let's see. we're gonna take this. So we're gonna take this because we know this mix works and we can paste it back together, no problem. Put it here. So this and this meet, and we're gonna insert this and just see how it works. Well, I like the complementariness of it so far. Baseline kind of sinking in. Everything's kind of getting low and pressury. Yeah, this works. Not the greatest mix, but it's no better than that other one, which I was kind of shoehorning in there. Yeah, all too early, so that's where it fits. So now let's take this Martin Roth track and put it over here. Gotta make it work. You can still do a similar thing we did in the previous mix because this is such a good track. It's almost like a little reset when it has this build up here. So we can totally fade this Sabota track out. So let's see how it works. Not great. And we gotta DJ style it. Whatever. So switch that up. Got that Sublunar track in there. Now we're at 128 minutes with this one. That's the other one I was looking for, the Maceo Plex mix. Oh, perfect. Very nice. All right. Home stretch, it looks like. Beautiful.
My soul on the floor when it's cold as stone.
Quiver, my man. Don't quiver for ages. Ooh, that does not work at all. Let's move that back. Take that bass out. Let's see how this works. Going. John is not ready to let go just yet. Keep that volume up there. I'm going to tick it up here when this little fill comes in on the Luttrell track right here. Perfect. See, these are totally different keys, but it's just math. Just match them up where there's a way to get out of one and get into the other. If I layer this up further, they're going to clash. It's going to sound awful. Perfect. Okay. Ilke Klein. So now we're back into these type of tracks that are very tonal, very musical based, and the music is always from the very beginning to the very end, which is kind of a Spotify mentality versus a long set DJ mentality. So it's a lot more tricky in being able to combine them. You have to find things that are in key or be really strong with the automation to make them sound beautiful together. What a track, though. I may have to DJ this one. Let's see how this goes. Oh, that does not sound good. Oh. These are my frustrations. That's such a high-pitched tonal sound. It's a great sound, but now there's also a little more freedom because it's the end of the set to kind of completely filter out a track when another track starts. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. Come on, there we go. I've literally had to stop listening to radio shows because they just slap bad keys on top of each other. Great tracks, but as soon as you hear that like clashing keys, I don't know, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. Okay, I feel like this is just not gonna work in a way that is gonna be attractive. Come on. No, I thought I got lucky there. I think we're done. Oh yeah. Quick kind of sub boof. Holy fuck. That took twice as long as usual. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. I need a beer.